Does anyone know whose number that is calling in?
Not sure. I'll have to.
Can't see the number, so okay. Can we get this done in an hour? I have another meeting at 10.
I believe
clear.
we'll be
So I'll
done
go
in
ahead and
under
move
an hour. Yes. Good.
Number is it, Brenda? What's the last four?
That's
I
Claire.
believe that's Claire. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. It's me.
So,
Can you hear me?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Sorry, I'm having some network problems getting through the video Zoom. I'm retrying right now.
Anybody heard from Director Alvarado? Running a few minutes late.
Not yet. Let me try.
Okay. Oh, he's just jumping on right now.
Message.
Oh,
I
he's-
just
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Want to just double check, see where.
Yeah.
Give him some
How are
time.
you? He's on.
Good.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry, guys. Can you see me?
Yes. Yeah, we can see you.
Everyone here?
Yes, everyone who needs to be here, we can go ahead and get started.
All right, so let's call this meeting to order. Roll call,
Great.
please.
Okay, we'll start with Director Alvarado.
Yes.
Thank you. And Director Sedith.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. First item are the minutes, accept the minutes of the March 14th, 2022 Finance and Administration Committee meeting.
Move to accept.
Second.
Thank you. Next item, job specifications, review of new administrative assistant and administrative technician job specifications.
Okay, who's handling this?
All right, I will be handling this, Director Alvarado. Good morning. Just before I talk specifically about these new job specifications, I don't know if you've noticed over these last year and a half, we've been looking at a lot of the job specifications, and with an overall as an organization, we're looking at how can we have better kind of pathways, career pipelines necessarily for different level of classification. So, as an example, last year, the board approved the CSO crew member and senior crew member, which makes it a lot easier for those in that classification to promote up. So today's proposal is there's a couple items. So there's new classifications. One is the administrative assistant, which we are recommending that would replace the existing secretary job title. So we are, instead of just changing the title and leaving everything the same on that on the administrative assistant, we went through and just updated the entire job description to make it more reflect accurate how the positions are actually working right now within our organization, and also to give it to make it the position just more current, kind of modernizing it. It's, let's say the secretary term is antiquated, and it doesn't really reflect the work that the existing secretaries, the type of work that they do. And so we wanted to update that. So the titles, plus as we reviewed the job description. Looking at, as we looked at the description, the salary would stay the same. We feel like the salary for the existing secretary is in line with what an administrative assistant would earn, when looking at other local government organizations. So that's the first change that we're recommending. So it would be when we go to the board specifically with this change, would be to reclassify the existing secretary positions into their new title of administrative assistant. The other position change that we're looking to make is creating an administrative technician. So if you would recall, I believe it was for the fiscal year 2020 budget, there was a placeholder administrative technician in the position control list. That at the time we didn't have any job description, we didn't formalize anything, and so we kind of put that aside. It's just looking at where an administrative technician position would fit. So as we were looking at these changes within the administrative positions, we saw that there's, as we're a smaller organization, so we have our consultant that was helping us review these job classifications. Our consultant recommended that, as we're a smaller organization, it makes a lot more sense for us to have more general and broad job classifications, so that could be used in different ways in multiple departments. So the administrative technician, what we're recommending to do is reclassifying. We have an existing accounting technician 2. The accounting technician 2 is very specific to the finance division. And so that person is responsible for overseeing payroll, as well, overseeing, but processing, making sure the payroll is getting processed, as well as accounts receivable and accounts payable. Thus making sure our vendor checks get issued. and doing those processes. And so what we're recommending to do is to reclassify that incumbent, the accounting technician two, into an accounting an administrative technician. The job duties would be exactly the same. But creating this administrative technician classification would allow us to also open up an administrative technician in other departments, which we would be recommending to add administrative technician in the infrastructure and planning department. And then that person would do different duties in infrastructure and planning. They would be assisting with, administration of the pipes program, which is the grant program for sewer lateral replacement. They may be helping with scheduling inspections with our district inspector. They may be helping with other different kind of sewer permit issues and handling that end. And so this would allow the administrative technician would allow to have different functionality, but same classification in different departments. So depending on what department they'd be able to, they'd be doing different work. And so what our intent is with these two classifications is actually create a kind of a promotional series. So the intent would be somebody who is an administrative assistant after several years of experience, when an administrative technician position opens up, that they would be able to promote into that. Well, through an application process. It wouldn't be a straight, promotion, because we would need to have the position available. But the intent is that we're creating a way for staff to be able to promote up within the organization. The administrative technician would be essentially a step way that those in the administrative technician classification, when an assistant management analyst position opens up, that those in the administrative technician could qualify for and apply for an assistant management analyst. And so that was really creating this longer term career pathway for those who are kind of in the administrative series. So just kind of like that's kind of where we're going, what our intent is with this before going to the board. I just want to mention that we have had a meeting with the union about these changes. There's still some, additional information. The union's going back to their members, and so we're going to have another meeting with the union before we would bring this to the board. But we have started the discussion on how that would impact the existing incumbents that would get reclassed in their positions. So that concludes my brief presentation on these two new job specifications, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Vice President Zedek, any questions?
Yes, sir. I understand. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you. Good presentation.
And if
When
I
do you
could
think
just
it's
check
going to be
to
rolled
see
out?
if there's any public comment, actually.
Okay, sorry.
So if any of our attendees would like to speak under public comment, if you can please raise your hand. Seeing none raised, we do not have public comment.
Thank you. So when do you think this is going to get rolled out?
So we're planning to bring this to the board in May. So we're hoping either the first or second meeting in May to bring this to the board and then make these changes happen.
Okay, thank you. Next item.
Next item, financial report, review of fiscal year 2021, annual comprehensive financial report.
Okay,
That's me again. I'll just want to briefly talk about it. I'm going to get into all the details of our fiscal year end of 2021 annual comprehensive financial report. Just to preface this, we were a couple months behind what our normal schedule was. So if you recall, we would typically have this done end of December. We did have our finance manager has resigned, and so during our year-end piece, we weren't able to get to everything as quickly as possible, but we were able to work with our existing staff to get our audit completed. And so we did this last month, complete our audit. And I do want to give some credit. We had Yukiko Schroth, who is our accountant, as well as Jesse Kim, who's our financial analyst, were very instrumental in reviewing and doing a lot of the year-end closing. And they were, new staff that started last summer and fall. And so I'm very happy that they were able to get up to speed really quickly and help us get this, get our report completed. So just briefly, there's just a couple highlights I just want to talk about. So our net position, that's looking at all of our assets, right? All our pipelines, all of our facilities, minus our liabilities, the amount that we owe to others, and that creates our net position. So our net position improved between fiscal year 2020 to 2021. So our net position is a little over $108 million. So about $2 million improvement from fiscal year 2020. Within the net position is those related to our assets, and let me just pull this up real quick here, is related to our investment in capital assets. So those are is everything, all our pipelines and our facilities. Then we have restricted, that's money that's set aside specific to debt service, and then we have unrestricted. So that's our we have about $17 million in unrestricted net position, leaving us about $108 million. Just a few things. We had our total revenues were operating revenues about $26.1 million. Non-operating revenues were we were about a little over 2.1 million. So we had about $28 million in revenues with about $27 million in expenses. Just two items to note that I want to talk about our long-term liabilities. So we have our pension liability, which is we offer pension through CalPERS. We're that particular net position of our CalPERS liability, we're about 75% funded. It's a little bit lower than what it was in fiscal year 2020. But we are continuing to make our required contributions for CalPERS. And then on the OPEB side, which is our other post employee benefits, which is the retiree medical, we've actually, at the end of fiscal year 2021, our net liability is actually 100. So we're essentially 110% funded, and partially, most of that is related to that we've been funding employee. The district has been funding into our 115 trust, and we've been doing a pay as you go. And so, as we haven't been drawing down the trust, and then the market has been pretty good. In that last year, we've had quite a bit of gains within our OPEB trust. When the actuarial did their calculation to look at our funded status, that we were overfunded. So it's good news for us. What will happen in the future is in future budget years, we will actually have a budget savings, because the amount of money that the district would need to contribute towards the trust to maintain funded status for retiree medical is going to decrease. So when we present the fiscal year 23 budget, you'll be able to see that we would anticipate that there's going to be a deduction in the amount that the district is going to have to contribute to the 115 trust. And so our goal over time is to keep it at about 100% funded status, but that will change every year, really depending on how the stock market is, because the money in our 115 trust is invested in the stock in various investments, and that's managed through an organization called PARS, and they are managing the investment for us. And they've so depending on the market, that our funded status will fluctuate, but we're looking at ways to smooth it out and to keep that as funded as possible. So just to wrap it up very, very quickly, we are in a very solid financial footing at fiscal year 2021. As I mentioned in our mid-year budget in a couple months ago to the board, that we we see that we're going to end fiscal year 2022. We think we'll have a pretty good financial position at the end of this fiscal year. And we're looking at all of our, and we're able to meet our obligations, and we're able to invest into our capital program. And I think that's really what we've been looking at over these last couple of years, is how can we make sure that we're investing in our assets to make sure that we have a system that is reliable and that is being maintained. So we're able to do that, and we're just going to continue moving forward with our different programs over this next year. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Well, thank you for that report, Vice President Sudduth.
Yeah, I'm done.
You good? So am I. Good report. Good, I'm glad that we're in a good position. It looks like we're doing great. So let's keep it up. Anything further on this?
No, that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next item, please.
Next item, reports on issues or matters pertaining to the work of the committee.
I have no reports at all at this time, but anyone else? Director Sudduth?
No.
You good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next item, please.
Thank you. Last item, adjournment.
All right. Well, I apologize for being late this morning. I had a little problem with traffic, but it's all good. All right, y'all have a great week. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Have a good day.